Day 12. Welcome. We are halfway through. How has that happened? Oh my goodness. So, today is going to be a little bit of a spicy one. We're going to get some fire going so that we can find some balance. If you can see the frogs, you might get a little hint as to what we're going to be doing. Um, don't be afraid, we will build up into it. Daisy is raring to go. So grab your yoga mat, grab your chair, um, wear comfortable clothing you can move easily in, and I will see you in a second. So we are going to start seated. Daisy's just on the sequence, she's knackered. So come to a seated position if you're on the mat, legs crossed or legs out long. Kneel if you prefer to kneel. If you're on a chair, feet about hip distance apart, flat on the mat as much as possible. Hands wherever is comfortable for you. Let's take a soft gaze and let's start just by bringing ourselves into the present moment by taking 3 breaths. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. In and lovely stuff. On your next inhale, bring the arms overhead. Bring them together. So Anjali Mudra, prayer position over the head. Gently push down through the sit bones. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Gazing thumbs if that feels good for you. And really just getting a stretch through the stomach, through the sides. You might want to wiggle a little bit. Enjoy this. Make it feel good for you. And then exhale, bring the hands back down. Bring your hands to your knees. I'm going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. So on an inhale, open the chest, look forward, up. Exhale, round through the back. Draw the chin in toward the chest. Inhale, open the chest, look forward or up, shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, round through the back. So continue with this at your own pace. And play around with your cat-cow. So you might want to kind of exaggerate the movement in the shoulders and really think about getting the shoulder blades down the back. And then rounding them the other way as you round through the back. Or you might want to really tilt the pelvis. Thinking about kind of tucking it under as you round through the back. Might want to wiggle a little bit. Just notice how your back feels, how you want to move today. It might be that you don't want to emphasize anything and actually just looking up, looking down. Gentle movements will work for you today. Just play around. We want to bring play into our daily lives. How we balance our lives. The play between the seriousness. Play is always good. Isn't it, So, on your next exhale, make that the last one. Come back to a seated, neutral seated position. If you're on the mat, take your legs out long. For anybody who's seated, we're going to be doing similar but without the legs super duper long. So, for those on the mat, flex the toes so they're pointing up towards the ceiling. Likewise, if you're on a chair, push down through the feet. So rather than kind of flexing the toes, we're pushing down through the feet for those who are seated. As you push down through the feet, as you flex the toes, lift up through the thigh muscles. Lengthen through the tailbone ever so slightly so your stomach muscles fire on. Doesn't have to kind of be a super fire on. Lift the pelvic floor muscles up slightly. Bring the hands down to the side. So if you're on the mat, palms of the hands flat on the mat. If you're on a chair, either on your lap or if you want to kind of flex the hands beside you, do so. Shoulder blades down the back. Dandasana, staff pose. Breathe. And then on your next inhale, bring the arms overhead. So if you have lost that leg engagement, find it again. Push down through the feet if you're seated. Push through the heels if you are on the floor. Lift up through the thighs. Lengthen the tailbone. Arms overhead, shoulder blades down the back. We are strengthening our back muscles here as well. Breathe. Couple more breaths. Hold it, you're doing well. And on your next exhale, we're going to twist to the right, bring the arms down to the side, keeping them about shoulder distance past it. Bring the arms overhead on an inhale, come back through to center. Exhale, we're going to twist to the left. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, let's twist to the right. We'll do 3 in total. Arms back overhead on an inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, arms overhead. And then just let the arms fall down. Lovely stuff. So, we're going to move into boat now. Frog. So, there are very, very many different ways of doing boat. So, if you're on the mat, bend the knees so the feet are flat on the floor, and then walk your feet in. Same kind of thing if you're on a chair. Come onto your tiptoes. So we're essentially going to balance on our sit bones, on our pubic bone. The first way that we can do that is to bring our hands behind us, and then from here lift up one knee and then the other. So do this on the mat as well. If you're on the chair, same difference. And then if that feels super duper easy, lift both knees up and then take the feet up as well. That is all right for you. You can always come onto the shoulders. If you're on the mat, might help. Lean into the back of the chair if you're not going to tip it over. And then bring the legs up. If you can straighten the legs, that's absolutely good too. This is going to get your core muscles, back muscles, thigh muscles, hip flexors, everywhere. It's a full-on body strengthener, and as well as a bit of a balance. If you're on a chair and you feel confident to do that, you can always turn so the back of the chair isn't kind of restricting your movement. So if we do that again without the back of the chair, it does actually make it slightly easier. But see how it feels for you. Yes. Other way, in fact, I'm going to say this way. On the mat, play around with it on a chair. It may or may not work for you. If you're on a mat, just checking where I am on the chair, lift the knees up, arms out in front of you. And then from here, play around with straightening one leg and then the other. Toes pointed. You can always kind of keep the feet on the floor, arms here, or you can be hugging the thighs in and then play around with one foot up and then the other with both feet. Same thing if you're on a chair. The back might make it, if you're kind of, what I'm trying to say, if you're doing boat and the back of the chair is in your way, I would suggest turning around so the back isn't in your way, because then you can just lean back that little bit further without falling off the chair. But be careful and do what works for you. You can also just be here with hands clasped around the chair. So find your boat, play around with it, see what feels good, see what doesn't. Hold it, find the one that works for you, hold it. But let's say 3 breaths, not 3 daisy cunt breaths. And then last breath, hug it in, straighten the legs, hug it in, bring it down. Whew. So boat, isn't it good? It's a lot more of a balance if you're on a chair. So if you fancy a challenge, boat on the mat is far too easy for you. Sit on a chair. It gives it a whole different dimension. So lovely stuff. Bring your feet back down to the mat if they aren't already. Bend the knees. Same thing if you're on a chair. Feet flat, knees bent. Hands come behind you if you're on the mat and have the fingertips pointing inwards. If you're on a chair, you can do that, or you can hold the sides of the chair, your choice. And then as you inhale, push through the feet, push through the hands, lift the hips up engage the glutes. Really strongly engage the glutes. Take the head back ever so slightly. Inverted tabletop. Lift yourselves, bring yourselves back down to the mat. Bring the hips back down to the mat. Or just lift up 2 more times. So inhale, lift the hips up, engage the glutes. Breathe. And then as you exhale, release down. 1 more time. Inhale, lift up, push through the feet. Really use your leg strength to help yourself lift up. Hold it for a couple of breaths. And exhale, bring it back down. If for any reason your hips weren't getting anywhere, but you were pushing down through the hands and the feet, it's fine. If you're on a chair and it's not going to happen, just push down through the arms. Use your arms, get your arm strength building up. And then to just start to release out, let's window wiper our knees either side. So if you're lying, well, if you're sat on the mat, feet come to about hip distance apart, both knees go one way then the other. If you're on a chair, pretty much same thing. You're warm, right? And then release out. Shake it off. Make any other movements that feel good to kind of just bring our bodies back in after boat pose, after tabletop. Take another boat if it feels so good. Maybe not. And then just finding some stillness in a seated position. Legs out long, legs crossed. Feet flat on the mat if you're seated, on a chair. Hands wherever's comfortable for you. Let's have the palms facing up this time. And we'll take 3 breaths to close our practice, taking a soft gaze. Breathing in and out. In and out. Notice how it feels as we come to rest. Notice the body, notice how your mind feels now. Notice whether you do feel a little bit more balanced, a little bit calmer as we go into the rest of our day. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have thanked yourselves as well, and I will see you tomorrow for day 13.